quick video I thought I had. Something that I've been meaning to say in my videos. Don't be afraid to change something in your design if you see it's not working. The worst thing you could do is try to force something to work. And this is a good example. I decided to redo this. It was a little off. It was a little crooked from the panels warping and whatnot. And I thought I was just going to fix it. And then I looked at it and I thought it's just not working. I just didn't like the edge around it. It didn't have enough shape to it. I don't know. I just didn't like it. Too squarish, considering the rest of the dash. And I know the radio is already square, but I'm trying to do things to make it less squarish. And the other thing is, never go into a project, and this is a similar idea, never go into a project with a preconceived idea. I tell customers all the time, don't look at the pictures in magazines. You can look, that's fine, but don't try to get ideas from other people's work directly, because you try to force it to work in your vehicle and with your equipment and your level of install skills and everything else combined, and it does not always work. And then you start trying to force it to work. Same idea. So, and this is basically your what I call putty pod onto a box that has a lip, so the head unit can slide in from the back and have more of a flush look on the front, and follows the contours of the gauges and the dash better. Still gotta fill that in, obviously, but that's what I'm working on today. And it shouldn't take too long. It's not a big deal. And I'll be covered in vinyl, of course, black vinyl. Okay. Timmy, what you working on? Say hi.
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 I am coarsely sanding the surrounds of the door panels for the neon because you told me to.
You don't have to do everything I tell you to do.
Yeah, but I like to.
Oh my God! Don't ever say that again. That's scary. So why are we coarsely sanding the edges of the?
We're coarsely sanding them basically because we're getting all the paint off, and you gotta have a good surface, etched up surface for the resin and fiberglass to stick to.
Very good.
Is that correct?
Yes, because what are we going to be doing?
We're gonna be making new door panels.
Right. Why?
Because they're cooler than the original ones.
All righty then.
What are you?
So what the hell was that?
What are you doing?
Basically standing here watching you part with the airline.
How long have you been doing that for?
Since 1927.
Wow, it's a long time.
Yeah, well, not that long.
Well, how come you get so upset when I call you an old man then?
What's that?
Are you filming that? Not cool.
Okay, Timmy, what are you doing, man? Explain to our audience.
I am fitting this piece of Masonite to the door panel that we completely gutted, sanded down, and pretty much brought it down to as little as possible. We're going to keep the door handles, so those are still on there, and we're going to work around it. So then we're going to fit this piece on here, pretty roughly. We're going to mount it, and then that'll give us our work area. We will screw this to the door panel, take it off, fiberglass it from the back side, and then work from there.
That's it.
That's pretty much it.
That's it. Gives us a rough base, just a plain flat piece, but we'll be adding on that, giving it shapes. But you got to start with something. And start fabricating this piece here too. It could be done. I've done it before. It's not a big deal, but it's very time consuming for something that doesn't really matter. So for the side, especially when you're keeping the factory handles. So Timmy, what are you doing?
I am strategically taping. We got our panels mounted and roughly cut out and back off the door. And now we're taping up We took the extra wood that was hanging over the edge and we cut it off at a 45-degree angle. I don't know if you can see that right there. Gives it a good transition onto the door panel. So now we tape up all the gaps and seams. That way we can flip it over and proceed with the fiberglassing. That way we can fuse the masonite to the rest of the door panel.
Very good. Are you wearing your protective quad piece?
Who wants to know?
All the YouTube audience. I've got several strange emails.
It really depends on what I'm doing. You know, I've got a couple appropriate cod pieces for, you know, different kinds of jobs. Right now, it's not really that. You know, I'm not in that much danger of my junk being harmed. So,
just a soft little.
Yeah, you know, you don't want to be uncomfortable while you're working.
No, definitely not. Very good. While Timmy is taping off those other door panels, I'm going to go ahead and start fusing these.
Fusing. I couldn't come up with anything better.
Fusing is a very good word.
That was a good word.
It's exactly what we're doing.
But, I mean, technically it's not.
Well,
I mean, I think there's a scientific definition for fusing, and this
okay.
Doesn't fall into that category, but...
Could you do me a favor?
What's that?
Shut up.
Okay.
So, basically, like a lot of this wood will eventually be cut away. But we needed a good base, as Timmy said. And that's what I'm doing now.
Hey Dan.
Yeah, bud.
I'd just like to take this time send out a few thank yous
to your audience.
I don't have an audience yet. This thank you actually goes to you for allowing me to be part of this special occasion.
What is it? That really special?
I don't know. Is it?
Not really.
To some people, it might be. I bet it's pretty special to the customer.
Yeah, it could be.
And it's keeping me from having to sweep.
Yeah, it's a little. It's definitely a sweeping kind of day.
Not for us, though.
Not for us. We're busy.
Not for us, guys.
We're busy with our cod pieces and our fiberglass.
Cod pieces and chastity belts.
Whoa.
That's what we make here.
That's our product
disguised
list.
as car audio installs.
That's our product list. Now I am using the chop strands, and as if you watch my videos, I use almost exclusively chopped strands.
Yeah, and he doesn't let anyone chop them either.
And I'm very particular about my choppages.
The coolest tool in the world, and you're the only one that's allowed to use it.
Yeah, the chopper gun. You haven't even seen the coolest tool, bud.
Which is?
The coolest tool is the gun I have that actually sprays resin and
oh, you told me about that.
Separately.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, so on your last video, I saw something that I never saw you do before.
What was that?
Mix the fiberglass strands into the resin and brush it on that way.
Yeah, I do that quite frequently.
I don't think I've ever seen you do that before.
That's something that I picked up when I first started fiberglassing. It's commonly used. Hot rodders do it a lot because they're fusing fiberglass panels and metal.
Right.
So it's a common, you know, in the old days that was a typical way of doing it. And it's strong, but it's heavy.
And it seems like it allows you to get into little more intricate areas.
Yeah, it's not something you do if weight was an issue, obviously. It's more for bonding. It's for bonding things that normally couldn't be bonded.
Right.
Like something flexible with something rigid. In other words, a steel bar with a fiberglass panel.
Okay.
But yeah, it does come in handy for certain things. It surely does. Stop calling me Shirley.
You called yourself Shirley.
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
No such thing.
Now this, I want to mention too, this isn't, I don't always do door panels the same way. This is one way of doing them. Since we're keeping the handles, the pull handles, usually I would just keep maybe the top section of the door because that's really the most time-consuming and least important part of the door if you're fabricating from scratch, to get that curved part that wraps around. So I would usually start with that as a factory piece, just this top. But we're going all the way around on this one.
I'd also like to mention that I have a nose full of masonite dust.
Excellent.
No, it's not really all that excellent.
No, do you get a pleasure from that, or
No.
any type of buzz,
No, not
as the young folks say?
All it really does is make breathing difficult.
Yeah. Yep. And I would like to. I have a little story I'd like to tell, and I think I've told you this story, Tim, but I've never said it on my YouTube channel.
Ooh.
And that is about. It's a safety thing. About wearing masks when you're working with resins.
Oh yeah.
Resins are very dangerous over time.
Obviously.
I'm living proof. Yeah, but it could be bad for you. But when I was at one job I was at that had a problem with a neighbor complaining of the smell, the Environmental Protection Agency came in, and the guy was really helpful, and we talked about it a lot. He was really, like, he saw what I was doing. He was like really into it, and we talked about fiberglassing boats and all kinds of stuff. It was actually his hobby. And he told me that there was a new study. Now this is about, when was that? When I was back in...
when we first met?
Yeah.
About 07, summer of 07.
Well, he said it was new then, and I haven't heard of it since, so I don't know if this is something that's been made public even. But if you wear a respirator for any type of painting, fiberglass, resin, any kind of resins, that what happens is the resin saturates the canisters. So as you would expect. But what they found was unless you change your canisters in your respirator every 45 minutes, is the number they came up with, which is not very long, you're actually doing more harm than good by wearing a mask. That the canisters become saturated, and it's actually more concentrated when you breathe it.
I mean, if you think about it, it makes sense.
Yes, it makes sense. And it's kind of scary. So really the best thing is to have an exhaust fan on. And now that that story is done, would you please turn on the exhaust fan, because I'm getting a headache. Yay, exhaust fan.
I, for one, love the smell.
You are...
Off the record.
Well, not really.
Yeah, but as long as you say that, it's off the record.
Oh yeah, with all due respect. With all due respect. What do we have here? Oh.
Looks pretty good, bud.